Hey, everybody. Happy Monday. It's Alexis with Create Your Future. I am back with a new success story, a brand new video, and some tips about manifesting, as always, to share. Before I get started, just a reminder that to book one-on-one coaching with me, one-on-one hypnosis with me, or for any of my offerings, the information and links are in the box below. So let's talk today about how to manifest being a queen, how to manifest being adored, how to manifest being pursued, and also what to do in your 3D reality when it looks like things are going south, or when there's lots of circumstances that look like things aren't working out to your advantage, what to do about that, because I get asked that a lot, okay? Also, you guys, this success story that I have to share, it's a little bit long, but I want to read the whole thing because she talks about so many things that a lot of my clients are looking to manifest with a specific person, and that people just want to kind of experience. There seems to be a reawakening where people want to be chosen, pursued, loved, and adored, and really feeling that unconditional love, the acceptance with a specific person. And I'm here to tell you that you can 100% manifest that. It's 100% possible. So if you're watching this and it's the start of the week when this airs and it's Monday, you guys, happy Monday. Let's intend right now that you get something amazing and magical out of this video, and that this information really resonates with you, and that it helps you click and kind of helps you change your own story and gives you some tips and tricks. Okay. So let me get to the story. All right. And she does compliment me a lot in this, which is very sweet. I was so taken back by this. It's very sweet, just so I don't have to interject and say that in the success story. Okay. Alexis is a total queen. I had 10 sessions with Alexis over 12 months, and she helped me transform my self-concept and my entire life. I first met with Alexis in late 2021 when I booked a coaching session after seeing some of her videos. I thought she was gorgeous, and I resonated with her coaching style. At this point, I was utterly heartbroken, suffering from a breakup with a partner of 10 years. He had stolen from me, cheated on me, and was living with the third party while telling me that he still loved me and was trying to find his way home. I was a complete mess, totally in victim mentality, and could not find my way out. Alexis gently pulled me out of my sadness and desperation by encouraging me to focusing on loving myself. She helped me to rebuild my self-esteem and improve my self-concept, and this was no easy feat. Soon enough, I had men chasing me down. They were chasing me down, telling me they loved me and wanted to marry me. It was wild. I felt so powerful. Unfortunately, I was getting nothing from my ex, ... who was the one I thought I still wanted. One day I was reading Joe Dispenza's Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself and had a wake-up call. I was the prize. If my ex couldn't see that, that was his loss. 3 days later, I was at a bar with friends, and the bartender started talking to me. He was charismatic, funny, and sweet, ... He had a very similar name to my ex, of course. Within a few days, he told me how he loved me and was spending every night at my house. And he was spending every night at my house. He was wholly committed to me from the get-go. Everything was incredible for about 6 months when I hit a bump in the road. I had taken a new job that was draining me. I felt depressed and unfulfilled, and my new boyfriend was not getting the best of me. We had a couple of big fights, and one night he never came home. He texted me to say that he was staying at a friend's and would come and get his stuff in a couple of days. I was in complete shock. I made an appointment with Alexis. I told Alexis what had been happening since we last spoke. There was a lot of pressure in my life. I felt stuck in the unfulfilling job, plus a new fantastic job offer in a faraway city, ... and whether my partner and I would move for it. My ex had also recently returned to my life to collect a truck's worth of belongings he left at my house for the past 2 years. This, along with everything else, was very triggering. I had slipped back into remembering what it felt like to be victimized, abandoned, and alone, so I had played it out again in my reality. Once again, Alexis helped me see that I had stepped out of the playful, feminine energy I so loved embodying. This had repelled my current partner and created a world that reflected my energy. We worked together on relaxing me back into my queen self with the knowing that everything would work out perfectly. I doubled down on my self-concept affirmations and did everything I could to maintain a positive or at least neutral state. I watched CYF videos and read books about parallel realities, all to increase my belief that I created my reality. I was the only one who would create my reality. All I had to do was relax, improve my self-concept, and let things flow. My partner was staying at a friend's house with no plans to move out permanently. But over the next couple of weeks, he gradually changed his mind. As much as possible, I tried to stay calm and not rush the process, knowing that as I stepped back into the energy he fell so madly in love with, I would be like a magnet to him and everything else wonderful in my life that matched that energy. I distracted myself with family, friends, and healthy activities, being strict with my mental diet and what I shared with people. In time, I was completely trusting and enjoying the process. I also had Alexis on my side. One day, I was hanging out, the washing in the sunshine. I think she means I was hanging out. And languishing in the sunshine while listening to affirmations I had recorded of myself. I was reflecting on how much fun it was witnessing the unfolding of my manifestations, and how even if it didn't work out with my partner, I really loved being this version of me. My phone was on silent so I could fully enjoy being in the present moment. A while later, I checked my phone. My partner had texted me asking about how I felt about him coming home. I replied that I would love for him to come home and whenever he was ready. He replied straight away, I think I'm ready. That evening after work, he came home. Soon after, we agreed to move for my job offer. We were back wholly and completely. It's been almost a year since all this transpired. We are now living in the city we moved to for my new job, and he has a new job he loves. He says every day how happy he is, and I am too. Now that I've learned how to maintain my goddess self within a relationship, I have everything I've ever wanted and more, and I feel like there's no limit to our potential for love and growth together. I am happier than ever, and I can't thank my friend Alexis enough. Side note, the original ex I was pining for came back, but then he went on to have a baby with the girl he cheated on me with. He lives in a tiny town in the middle of nowhere and has lost most of his hair. I have no doubts I am with the person I am meant to be with. Thank you, Alexis. You are my fairy godmother. All my love. XOXOXOXOXO. Okay. So you guys, how amazing is her success story? And can we all just give her a round of applause? Okay. When she and I began working together, she was down and out, frustrated, so sad, so hopeless. And as she points out, yes, she was in a victim mentality, but she felt really lousy. Now, isn't it interesting that when those feelings began to come back and they came back into her relationship, that it began to mimic the same thing. But at that point, she had the awareness, she had the insight to really think, okay, this is how I felt before. I want to get back to when I felt better than this. And then therefore it will change and transform everything else together. Okay. So that's why it's so important, you guys, to focus on your concept of self and the thoughts that you're engaging about what you're doing in life outside of your SP. Okay. Because like she's saying here, generally speaking, if we're feeling unfulfilled, tired, overwhelmed, overwrought, discouraged, if everything feels like we're spread very thin and we're in a relationship, then most of the time what we're doing is we project that sadness or that unfulfillment onto the other person. And then it creates this whole reality where we're in a feedback loop of like nothing is working because that foundational relationship we have with ourselves is really what's not working. Okay. So you guys, if you have a specific person and you're changing and you're really reworking these things, I really want to invite you today to really take a hard look at the other aspects of your life, right? Are you manifesting for all the other things? Are you manifesting for fulfillment in money, in love? If you have a career, in your career, or just like doing things that are fun and fabulous, are you doing that? Because when you really begin doing that and you peel your energy and you peel your focus off of being obsessive and about being codependent and it being so focused on a specific person, then it's interesting because with that specific person, things then therefore begin to evolve. Now, as I say that, the word detach, it is not detaching from what you want. It's not detaching from the thoughts of what you want. It's not detaching from the person really. It's detaching from what you don't want. Because what I see a lot with people is that they're doing this manifesting for an SP thing. And then they have like imagine you guys that this is the SP because I have my phone by me. They have a chokehold on the person and they're now, oh my God, Amazing, because I have my phone. Everyone can see that I have my cute, this is my current inspiration is France. So anyways, it's very funny that everyone can see what's on my phone. Okay. So what people tend to do is we get a chokehold on the specific thing. Now that could be money. It could be a person. It could be a car. It could be a house. It could be whatever. We're manifesting for it. We understand, okay, I create my reality. I know my thoughts create my reality is a replication of me. And then we do this, right? Now, funny that I happened to pick my phone. It's no accident, because then with a specific person, we usually are checking. Have they texted? Are they showing up? Is it happening? Is the money coming through? Are the clients booking? Is this working out? Right? We're looking outside of ourselves, and that comes from kind of like, I like to call it and typify it, having a chokehold on the manifestation. Now, the easiest way to not put a chokehold onto whatever you're creating for yourself is to focus on the baseline foundational aspects of self-fulfillment, self-value, self-discovery, self-focus, and you really, really tuning into being the center of your reality. Now, if you're manifesting for being a queen, just like this client was, being a goddess of your reality, living in that goddess queen-like energy and being that person who is sought after, who is pursued, who is chosen, then start thinking to yourself, if I was her, okay, if I was already my goddess self, if I was already that, and it could be a king, it could be a queen. Most of us have an archetype, right? I hear it a lot from people. We have an archetype kind of like of who we think we're manifesting to be. If you were that person, how would you be thinking? How would you be feeling? How would you be acting? Right? What's so interesting that this also reminds me of is if you watched a lot of my videos and you've seen that my son is now 1.5 years old, and I talked about this in like, I think it was 3 videos ago, that I manifested consciously and on purpose, like bouncing back from the body, I did the baby bounce back thing. It really is weight loss, I guess, but I really wanted to reconfigure how my physical body looked. And I did it very quickly, and everyone's been noticing. You can't really see my whole body, I guess, like in my video, but in any event, and I did that through feeling and thinking, okay, if I was already in the body I wanted to be, if I was already in that figure, how would I look? How would I feel? How would I be thinking? What size would I be buying? What would I be doing? Right. So I decided with that particular manifestation to go very much to the end. You can always manifest in steps. You can be thinking of things in steps, but you guys, I did that. And then lo and behold, it took like 2 or 3 months before like my body really, really transfigured and reconfigured itself through the power of my mind and my thoughts and my feelings. Now, did diet, nutrition, exercise play a part in it? Yes, it did, but it was secondary to me, first of all, being the version of me and being in that body where I felt light, free, fabulous. So in any event, this is very similar to this client, right? She realized that with her specific person, with him, that she was falling back into the victim mode, falling back into things aren't working for me. And then she didn't put this in the story, but she was tending to chase after him, ask him for confirmation, ask him for questions, ask him for reassurance. What's going on? Are you moving back in? Is this over, etc.? And that's when we did a session. And I said, no, let's bring all that energy back to you, focusing on self, focusing on this is my reality. I'm the version that is sought after. I am the version that is pursued, resting in that, living in that place, believing that that's who you are. And then it all began to unfold. And I remember when she got the message from him asking to come back home, that it was a shock. But it was a shock, but also kind of an expected shock, because she was already living in the end of being in the relationship, right? So remember that that's what you're doing with your mental diet. If you have a situation with your specific person where there is like physical separation or whatever you're going through, you guys, we want to be in the end of the experience of being in that loving, committed relationship where you're the one who is adored, pursued, sought after, and chosen, and that you're really, really being that version of you. So to go back to the main point though of this is to really look at and to evaluate your self-fulfillment in other areas, right? Do I feel like I am my most beautiful, successful, excellent self in all the other endeavors of life, with money, with whatever? Do I really feel that I am walking around, living and breathing, thinking and being the version of me that's already loved, already adored, already pursued? You've heard this probably in a bunch of videos, but let's really focus on that. And I encourage you to focus on that today and this week, to make that the priority, because remember that it has nothing to do with your specific person, right? And that's what I told this client too, and I'm saying it on repeat to all my one-on-ones, is that your creation of them and your creation of you, funniest thing, you guys, it has nothing to do with them. It's only has to do with you. It has to do with the thoughts that you're thinking, the inner conversations you're having with the person, your expectation of what you're creating for your future, and your decision of all of it unfolding. It has nothing to do with what they're saying. It has nothing to do with what they're doing. It has everything to do with what you're deciding is happening. It's your reality. It's your quantum bubble. If you look at it from an NLP or an energetic level, it is your reality. It is your experience, and you're deciding through what you're thinking and through how you're viewing things, what's going on outside of you, right? So everything is empty and meaningless. You've heard this in so many videos, but nothing has any inherent meaning. Like, as an example, go back to my phone. This phone means phone in, like, how many languages are there on planet Earth, right? So it really, this isn't an actual phone in English, right? It could be like telefono or like telephone, and in whatever language it would be. So it doesn't actually have the meaning of being a phone. And it's like, I wonder, on like an ethereal sense, if we went to a different planet, would it even be having the function of being a phone? Maybe it wouldn't even be able to call somebody on this. It would just be like a box on the wall. Okay, I digress. But you guys get what I'm saying. Nothing has any meaning. Nothing means anything. Just because your SP does something, it doesn't mean that that means something else, right? So start to monitor the focus that you have on them, what meaning you're giving things, and then bring your attention and your focus back to you, on elevating yourself, on getting back into alignment with, I am the version of me that things are working for, things are working out for me, right? Like, to go back to when I had my weight loss after having Logan, I was living in a body where I was heavier, certain clothing was fitting a certain way, and I really felt like a heaviness is the biggest thing. And I don't know, those of you who have had kids, that's what I felt after childbirth. It was heavy. It was like, I felt like I really had a lot of assumptions, a lot of beliefs and things to kind of shed. And thoughts I had taken on, just the whole experience. Also physiologically, after you have a baby, your body just has its way of moving through things. So, but even though my physical body felt that way, I was still inwardly, in my inner self, creating a feeling on purpose and creating the thought that I already was the person who was thinner, smaller, body had transfigured. People were telling me about it. I was looking great, looking fabulous, feeling fabulous, and that I was also having my best summer ever in a bikini. Okay. And what's funny is that this year, without me even consciously knowing that it was part of that, I have bought so many bathing suits. I've even had to give some away because that was my decision way before the summer started. I wanted to be hot, looking fabulous, feeling sexy, feeling light, being in the bikini and having a great time. And that's actually what's transpired. And Logan has learned how to swim amidst all of that. So it's been super fun. Was all of that easy to experience, you guys? No, it wasn't. When I felt bigger than I had been in a while, when I felt like really heavy and really tired after childbirth, it felt so difficult that it would tend to get me down about everything else. It would tend to kind of warp my mindset about my marriage, about my son, about everything, just because I had this stagnant feeling. Okay. So just like this client, if you're feeling like you're stuck, things aren't working, I'm here to tell you that for the moment, you want to not resist your feeling of being stuck or that things aren't working, but to know that through being the version of you that already has what you want to have, you can create it. Now, that's always the workaround. Remember that your affirmations, your mental diet, if you're doing hypnosis, if you're doing a technique, it's always to get you to be the version of the person that already has it, or the person who's creating it. That's how we're manifesting always. That's how you can, that's your workaround, is to live in the end. Like before my husband and I were married legally and we had our rings, I was already married. I was already talking to myself like I had my married name. I was playing around with what would it feel like? What would it look like if I had already changed my name? I was already living in the end of being married before I was married. So it's the same thing, you guys. And if I'm hearing a reminder of clients of mine who are so logical and so smart say, Alexis, that's delusional. You can't do that. Well, I want to challenge you and say, if that's the way that things work, if that's how we create, then is it really delusional? No, it's being smart and being forthright about what you want, about what you're creating, and then manifesting for it. It's knowing, no, this is the process of how to create things. Like if you're selling a house, believing and thinking and feeling, I've already sold the house, would sell the house, right? That's how we create. That's the mechanism of how everything comes together. Thinking I've already sold the house. I'm already in the relationship. He loves me. He adores me. He pursues me like this client did. Then it's not delusional because I'm hearing in my mind and I'm thinking, and I'm actually having an inner conversation with clients I've talked to about this recently. Okay, so if that's one of you guys and you're watching, let's get out of this is delusional and let's get into this is the magic of reality. This is how we make things happen. And this is exciting because it is, you guys. Okay. So just like this client, no matter what circumstances you're facing, or just like me, when I was manifesting for my weight transfiguration, weight loss, you can do it. I'm here to tell you that you can create exactly what you want, exactly the way that you want it. It's all possible. So let's start out this week with that outlook. And if you guys notice, I'm back sitting in my living room. This is just to say, this is that horse picture that I used to get so many compliments on. And I put it in our living room. I'm usually now in my back office working, but it's been so hot that I'm sitting in our living room table. And what's so funny is that I bought this before I met my now husband. And I decided that that was him and that this was me. And then look at now it's in our living room, right? And I also said when I bought it and my apartment I lived in then, that it would be the last place that I lived without him, and that he would find me, we'd find each other, and we would live happily ever after. Now, has it all been glitz and glam? Has it all been easy? Definitely not. And I'm planning to go into that in other videos. We've been married now for a little bit over a year, like a year and a half. And Logan is like 15 months old. So, I mean, a lot going on, lots of challenges. It's been a whirlwind, but it's still true. Exactly how you decide things are is how they play out. Exactly how you think things are going to happen is how they play out. Now, is it pretty magical and ethereal that we have this here in the living room? And I said that that's us, and then that is us, right? Because if you knew my husband, he would so be the one in the front, and I would be kind of shy in the back. Okay. But you guys, it is magical, yes, but is it surprising? No, because I created it. Okay. So anyways, this has been a lot of information in this video. I intend that it resonates for you, it clears things up, and that you feel like you can do anything through the power of your mind, your energy, your focus, because you can. It's all available. All right. So like I always say, go out, make today awesome, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.